Andrew Tate has been arrested. And boy, is the left sure loving this one. Mr. Tate, also known as Cobra Tate on Twitter, was arrested in Romania Thursday along with his brother and 2 others and has been ordered to be detained for 30 days by a Romanian judge. Tate is being held under allegations of human trafficking, sex crimes, and of organizing criminal enterprise stretching from Romania to Britain and to the United States. Now, while this does sound sensationally terrible, I implore you to remember the great Julian Assange. Could the situation just be an exercise to bring down an enemy of the deep state and the global elites by painting a lover boy, Coral, to look like human trafficking? Meanwhile, could the same not be said of Hunter Biden, who conveniently documented his forays into foreign sex workers, literally, on his own laptop? And what of all the perpetrators on the Epstein client list? It is ironic that a mere one day after a Twitter feud between Tate and climate change darling of the left Greta Thunberg erupted, that Tate's Romanian villa was raided by the Romanian Organized Crime Task Force. Were they doing the bidding of a George Soros figure? By jailing Tate after he claimed Greta was being used by the climate-obsessed global elites? Or did they have plans to jail Tate on the back burner and were merely waiting for the perfect PR moment? Or could it be simply what authorities are claiming? That Tate lured women into producing pornographic material against their will, and he is a deeply evil person. I can't say for sure, but it does sound awfully suspicious and conveniently fishy. But who knows? Maybe he is the monster they claim he is. But I don't know, man. It is sounding really fishy. But who knows? It could just be that he's a bad man. I don't know. But before we get to this and many other stories, including the capture of the Idaho Springs killer, who may not have done it, but I think he did it. I'm pretty sure he did it, but he may not have. I'm pretty sure he did it, though. But there's a chance that he didn't do it. Before we get into that and many other stories, let's thank our sponsor. My friends, today we have an awesome sponsor that can help you feel great. Matter of fact, I have some right here. I put this stuff in my coffee in the morning. Makes it real creamy. I like creamy. I even put cream in to make it more creamy. So friends, head over to eatrightandfeelwell.com. One of the longest URLs I've dealt with. Head over there to get your BioTrust. Keto, MCT, powder, C8, better than coconut oil, medium chain triglycerides. And be sure to never ingest more than 1 tablespoon of MCT oil, unless you wish to shit every last drop out of your bowels. A phenomenon commonly known as disaster pants. And as you all know, yet I'll tell you again, I used to be quite portly. And the best way to slim down quickly is to take a couple of chugs of that MCT oil. Shit your brains out, get dehydrated, you'll lose at least 10 pounds. And as you all know, I am quite the skater. And lately I say I go skating, but really I go rollerblading. And I found that nothing whatsoever one does on rollerblades can be considered anything other than ultra cringe. It is impossible to look cool fruit booting, but it always helps to not look fat. So go over to biotrust.com. Wait, that seems like a better URL. And check out their incredibly long sales page. And if you're lucky enough to find the link to where you actually buy the stuff, it's very far down the bottom. Get yourself some and you'll be cool like me. Also, my friends, head over to timcast.com. Become a member and support us there for as little as $10 a month. With your support, I will be able to buy more and more properties, increasing the future likelihood of my swattings. We've been swatted 15 times. I'm not supposed to talk about it, but I do talk about it. But I'm not supposed to talk about it because there's only so many things we can share. But I've definitely been swatted 15 times. We have some of the most powerful people in the area. You know, we're near DC. There's a lot of big, powerful law enforcement agencies that say they're looking into it, said they were looking into it. Actually, they're not looking into it anymore and nobody's helping us. Your continued support at timcast.com will allow us to put up 1,000 coffee shops across the country. And these coffee shops will just be a cool place to chill, to watch Saturday morning cartoons from the 80s, to hang out with your friends and play games. It's kind of like church, but without God, and catering to whiny millennials. So thank you, my friends, for your support and joining us tonight to discuss his global persecution and cancellation thought to be brought on by the Jews, the infamous Ye. Okay, do you mind telling us, who are you? And what is it that you do? Okay, well, also tonight, joining us, we have Luke Grodowski. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. My name is Luke Grodowski of wearechange.org. And today I come to you with one simple message of love from this great state of New Hampshire. And that is, live free or die. Oh wait, you can't see that because the microphone's always in the way. Live free or die. Just a piece of advice for you out there who are not living free. Go ahead and die. If you'd like to get this shirt, go to the bestpoliticalshirts.com, and you can support me, your humble t-shirt vendor. And if you don't like this shirt, maybe you can get this one. This shirt is also covered by the microphone. This favorite F word of mine is something the YouTube algorithm will not allow us to say. So, if you want to find out what it says, visit me at Podatki do Kraric. And if you want to know more, including what that means, visit my website, theblessedpoliticalshirts.org, and wearechange.org. And if you don't like this shirt, maybe you like this one. And this shirt I have in honor of my favorite, and sometimes my least favorite, but sometimes my favorite, and sometimes my least favorite politician, Bump Stock Donnie. So go to thebestpoliticalshirts.com and get yours today. And because you do, that's why I'm here. Thank you. We also have joining us tonight, Mary Morgan.
Hey, I'm Mary Margaret. Pop culture crisis.
And tonight we also have Ian. Ian. Luke. Oh, hey, hi there. Ian Crossan here. You can find me at iancrossan.net. Sorry about that, I just woke up. Happy to move this thing along. Let's get ready to rock and roll. Serge, tell us about it.
Hey everybody, Serge here, Serge.com. You know where to find me. I'm just here pushing buttons, and let's get into it, because I am the smartest person in the room, and nobody really knows that yet, but I'm definitely the smartest. I am African American. I speak 2 languages, but yeah, let's get into it.
All right then, let's get into it. Instead of reading a news story, tonight I would like to start by asking our guest, similar to Mr. Tate, what is it like being a famous celebrity that the deep state and the entire woke world hates?
Because the red media controls both sides. I just said it as simple as possible. Jared Kushner was next to Trump, Rahm Emanuel next to Obama. Since night.
Well, hold on a minute. I can't just let you say that.
I'm going to order with the last of my money that's available in a different account. I'm going to order a PJ before I sit and have another Lex Friedman set up conversation when I'm literally they're trying to put me in jail for my opinion. I'm not going to have that. I'm not going to have that opinion. I don't care about those people. Those are bots. Look at Pence. He sold Trump out. You know what I'm saying? I'd never do anything to hurt Trump. I'm on Trump's side. Trump said things that hurts me. He lied about me. He's known for lying. People used to tell me, he's a liar. It's like, I went into the trenches for Trump. There was no one in my position that wore that hat. All of my surroundings exhausted me. It was like death by 1,000 questions. I know I'm jumping to another thing, but what I'm saying is, I know you got a rep for people online, but I'm not with it, bro. I'm not with it. I lost the money for the freedom of speech. That's what makes me the only American that really deserves to run the country. Your boy DeSantis, Trump, whoever they raise in that petri dish on the Democrat side is going to play the game.
I can't just let you say that. Say them or these people.
I didn't ask your opinion on it. I don't care about your opinion. I like your opinion on how we win an election, but I don't care about anybody's opinion, bro. They try to put me in jail.
Hey, brother, I realize you think the Jewish people are after you. But are these people really Jewish? If they don't believe in God, are they really Jewish? If they don't believe in graphene, are they really Jewish?
God is saying, your children are going to be okay. Baby mama's got money. God is using me. He's breaking me down, removing all of the richest person so I can serve him. And the more and more those things are taken away from me, the more I can be empty and be a vessel and be used. Right now, it's that you're not going to take my pain away. Jewish people say it's the Holocaust, this happened, and you can't say anything about it. We can't take their pain away. No one's going to denounce the fact that they tried to lock me up.
Yeah, but who are they?
We can't say they, can we?
I can't just let you say that. Say them or these people.
It is them, though, isn't it? I mean, because
No.
because when you think about it, consider it.
What do you mean it's not?
You leaving? He's gone. I'll say it right now. You guys want to bring that stuff up, and you don't expect me not to push back and have the discussion. Whatever, man. Luke and I'll have a conversation and have the discussion. Wow, man, that was wild. He obviously felt like he wasn't getting heard. I know what that's like. Is there anyone else down in our 50-room house that we could bring on the show?
You know, I think Milo's downstairs, and this is getting pretty awkward. Let me go downstairs and see if I can find him. Okay, bye.
Interesting. Yeah, Milo would be good. A lot of people in the chat were saying, best guest ever. Here he is.
Hello, hello, hello again, my friends. Dearly beloved. Did you miss me? Yes, it is yours truly, Milo Yiannopoulos. I have returned, for I heard that our previous engagement was your best show ever. I can't say I'm surprised. I do have that way with people. However, this time I will apologize for Ye. Why, yes, it is quite unfortunate that Ye has decided to depart. However, he does have money, at least for the moment, and he's paying me. It doesn't appear as if Ye wanted to stay, at least not today. And while I'd love to stay and play, I must be going because, yes, I'm gay. I don't act on it, but I do have to jet, literally. Ciao.
Okay, well, now it looks like we need somebody else.
Well, we have been in contact with another famous rapper that said he actually might be stopping by any moment now.
Yo, 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 what up, fam? Tom MacDonald in the house. Hey, how you doing? Tim, listen, man, it's an honor and a pleasure to finally be here. You know, I know I've been a busy guy. I've been hard to get a hold of, and you've been asking me for a while. Been meaning to get here. All your fans want me on here, and I appreciate being here. But hey, what happened? You guys called me in early. I was supposed to be here tomorrow night, and then all of a sudden I get this call say, hey, we need a new rapper. What do you mean new rapper? Whatever. But it turns out that I also got a call from my jet rideshare, and they're saying that the jet I had booked for tomorrow night is leaving tonight. Like, fast. So, listen, I can't stay very long because I'm a busy guy. But I did have two things I wanted to leave with you. Two things I wanted to tell you. Two things I want to tell you and your fans, you and those wonderful people out there. Listen, number one, I got a video coming out on Friday. This Friday at 9 a.m. I don't know what time zone. I never tell you what time zone. But at Friday, 9 a.m., new video this Friday. And if you're paying attention to iTunes, the song actually comes out at midnight the night before. Anyway, two things to tell you. The other one is that, you know what? This is a very important thing that needs to be said. Fuck Joe Biden. Am I right? Am I right? Fuck Joe Biden.
Yo, family-friendly show here.
Dude, he's destroyed our country. What a fucking nut job.
Save it for the after show.
He's a real piece of shit.
This is a family-friendly show.
No, like a real piece of shit. Like if a piece of shit ate a piece of shit and took a pee and shit, he's that piece of shit.
And listen, this is a family-friendly show we have here.
You know what I'm saying? Fuck Joe Biden.
Family-friendly show here.
No, really, he's a real piece of shit. Like a real piece of shit. Like if a piece of shit fucked a piece of shit and got an STD, he's that piece of shit.
Family-friendly show.
And that ain't no lie. So fuck you, Joe Biden. Hangover gang for life. Peace out. I'm gone.
Wow, okay, that was wild. It's only been a few minutes and we've had 3 guests come and leave. Is there anyone else we can get for the second hour?
Well, there is a guy downstairs that seems pretty interesting. He's telling everybody about growing weed, and he's really good at darts. So I can go check and see if he wants to come.
Growing weed at the house? That sounds awesome. I wonder if he brought any. What if I follow him on IG? Okay, this should be interesting. I follow a lot of growers on IG. Welcome. Why don't you have a seat?
Okay, wow, this is cool. A little wild. Thanks, Tim. Cool name. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here. Got my headphones. Cool mic. Why am I here? That's a good question. I was at your house today, meeting with your house manager, to discuss the possibility of creating a cannabis cultivation room in the, said facility. Yeah, that's what I do. I teach people how to grow pot at home. Yeah, I got an interesting backstory, but basically they invited me to stay for dinner, and then we started playing some darts after dinner, and then Serge came down and said, hey, who's that guy that was talking about weed? You want to come and be on the show? And I was like, hell yeah, it's go time.
Tell us, who are you?
Well, my name is Flaco Watts. My internet name, anyways, Flaco Watts. I'm a 46-year-old dad of 2. I live in the great state of Colorado, although I am not from Colorado. But I did move there in 2010 with 1 child in tow, with a wife at the time who had rheumatoid arthritis. And if you don't remember correctly, in 2012, Colorado voted to make cannabis legal at a recreational level, but also part of that law allowed any citizen aged 21 and over to grow 6 of their own plants in their own home. Surprise, surprise. Imagine if we could all grow the same plant, like tomatoes, how much better this world would be. And yet there's still guys in prison for growing those same 6 plants, and they have a life sentence. Can you believe that? Horse shit. A lot of horse shit in this industry, but I'm sure we'll get into it. Yeah, so anyway, in 2012, we voted, and my wife and I had decided to try growing medically, actually, because she had rheumatoid arthritis at the time, and she wasn't going to start using until she was done breastfeeding our second child. So I had about a year to study, and I read every book I could, and I talked to everybody I knew that had anything to do with cultivating the wonderful herb. And then I spent a month constructing my first room. And then that was in 2013. I basically spent all of 2012 and 13 from the election till the fall when I started building my room studying. Then I built my room. I think I had it finished in January. My first clones that I got from a friend in Denver were cut on Christmas Eve 2013. And I picked them up January 11th, 2014. And I brought them home to their little nursery. And I got them going, and I started growing them, and a couple months later, I found out that my 2-year-old son had cancer. And to say that I stopped giving a fuck about a lot of things is an understatement. I had a real job at the time, which was great. You know, I worked in a steel mill as an inspector, gadget inspector. And it was good. I was fortunate to have that because the health insurance covered a couple $1 million worth of treatment or whatever it was, but we hit treatment pretty hard for about a year. We had to travel to New York monthly or weekly. I can't remember. It was a lot. But my son, he battled through the treatment, and they did a very good job up there in New York City at Memorial Sloan Kettering. And he's still with us today at 10 years old. And I feel fortunate because a lot of those parents that we would see at the Ronald McDonald House, when you go back month after month, those kids wouldn't be there. And it's pretty fucking sad when you lose a child. Like, there's nothing that shocked me more than the day I realized I'm going to have to decide where to bury my son. So yeah, it got serious real quick. And hey, I take things serious anyway. And I was way into my grow room at that time before I found out this. And then that just took it to a 10x level. I ended up becoming a caregiver for multiple patients, including my wife at the time, my son, another family member, and a couple other people, because you're allowed to do up to 5 patients. And for these past, 8-9 years, I've maintained my status as a caregiver, and I've always had 5 patients. I just love growing it, making oils. I make salves, I make tinctures, I just give it all away and supplement my income by consulting. That's why I'm here. You guys pay me good money. But the industry's in a state of decline, we'll say. So I'm going to try and focus more on teaching people how to grow at home online and maybe get a few bucks that way. If you could go to Flaco Watt's YouTube channel and subscribe, that'd be great. We're trying to get up to 10,000 and then 100,000 and then 1 million subs, right? But one step at a time. Yeah, YouTube kind of axed me. What's ironic is that my very first YouTube video, which was actually a draft. I hadn't even finished it, putting the titles and stuff up, but we posted it anyway, and it caught some traction. Now it has 670,000 views on how to extract cannabis using alcohol. Go check it out. And every video since then, none of the videos since then have garnered over 5,000 views. And a lot of those beginning videos are 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, which is cool. But the minute I opened my mouth about the election, COVID, Donald Trump, it just went... So I'm going to kind of deviate. I'm going to keep focused on growing cannabis at home on the Flaco Watts channel. And then I'm going to go over to a new channel that I just created. I think it's still mine, is Waddy Watts. And that's going to be my personal opinion channel where I can talk shit about whatever I want to talk shit about, and it won't affect my cannabis channel. So yeah, go check me out there, and check me out on Twitter also at Waddy Watts. It's either Waddy Watts or Flaco Watts on all the socials. So there you go. Waddy. Well, Flaco means skinny. That's, the original nickname I gave myself, because when I grew up in a Hispanic culture, and Flaco means skinny in Spanish. And I was called many names, Flaco being one of them. Flaco Weto, and, all the ones you can't say. Yeah, it just made sense, Flaco Watts. And then, that's my fake name, but my real fake name is Waddy Watts, which is short for Watford Reynolds Watts. And if you want to know where that comes from, check out a movie from 1994, I believe, called Love and a 45. Waddy Watts.
Anyway, so you call me Waddy, you can call me Flaco, but just don't call me Shirley. All right. So yeah, there's a lot of topics to discuss about cannabis. You know, I've heard you guys talk about cannabis on here, and every time I hear it, I get a little cringe, because it's like, fuck, you guys just don't know. But I'm happy to answer anything and everything right now. I think a lot of you driven millennial whippersnappers that are not into cannabis, there's a lot of you people that I follow on YouTube that aren't into cannabis. That's interesting because, you know, when I was Gen X kid, it just seemed like everybody was, you know, why wouldn't you use cannabis? You go camping, go wakeboarding, playing golf, and it's a life enhancement tool, in my opinion. But it has been misused, and it is misused. But I'm a libertarian, and I don't care what you do as long as you don't fuck with me. A lot of these, you know, maybe you got a rapper that's smoking blunt after blunt all day long, sitting on his rented Lambo, making a music video with a bunch of naked hoes in the background. That's his thing. You know, blaze it up. But I have a lot more respect for the plant. And I think that's one thing that I'd like to mention here is that we really need to start respecting this plant because the industry's about to fucking destroy it. Just like the industry destroyed the farmland, monocropping, you got commodity crops right now. You got soy, wheat, and corn. You got fucking alfalfa, commodities. Commodity means it's all the same. It doesn't matter if you grow the most heirloom, highest quality corn that you've ever seen on the face of the earth that has a nutritional content of 50 times what the other stuff is. It's still fucking corn, and it all goes for the same price, and that's exactly what's happening to cannabis right now. And what's even worse is that the fucking stores are promoting the THC percentage. The THC percentage, give me a fucking break. All of those testing methods are easily manipulatable, and it's basically like you got mom and pop shops going out of business that can grow the best shit there is, and they're going out of business because they can't get tests back over 30%. And that's horseshit. Do you ever go into an alcohol store, a liquor store, and say, give me the highest percentage alcohol you got? Okay, here's 95% Everclear, 190 proof. I use it to extract the stuff. I would never fucking drink that. The stuff I want to drink is beer. You know, a nice beer that's 8, 9%, a thick Guinness or whatever. I don't know what that is. Wine, 12%. But you got 95% Everclear. These motherfuckers are trying to sell based on THC percentage. Give me a fucking break. So the market is full of a bunch of new people, right? Because the old people aren't going to the stores. I'll tell you that. The old people got their people. And they know where they're getting their shit from. And I'll be honest with you, the free market, I don't like to call, you know, anybody by the color of their market. I like to judge them by their freedom, their level of freedom. Okay, so we'll do a Martin Luther King Jr. thing there. We shall not judge the markets by the color of. We shall not judge the legitimacy of your market by the color of the market, but instead by the content of its freedom on the spectrum of freedom. So whatever, you got a free market and an overly regulated market, we'll say. Hyper regulation, one side, free, other side. So the free market that's been operating for many, many years, in that world, you can't fuck around. If it ain't good, you ain't going to survive. But the old heads that are in that market, they stay in that market. They don't want to go to the store. The store seems like a fucking joke. And it is a joke. For the most part, most of these stores, and there's a handful of exceptions. I follow a few commercial guys that I would say are legit and doing it right, commercial-wise. But most of them are dog shit. 99% of the shit you find in a store is dog shit. It's like, as you scale these alien plants, to me, they're aliens. I look at them as little space aliens that I have in a bucket. And each one is its own special, powerful entity. Because off of that one plant, and every genetic's different, every harvest is different. As you grow it, you can change it and tweak it and push it and stress it and do all kinds of things to it. But then in the regulated market, what are we going to call that? The bullshit market is all about THC percentage, and everything costs the same. So the dog shit outdoor that you're growing, the dog shit greenhouse, the dog shit light depth, it's all the same. I mean, maybe prices differ a little bit because outdoor is bullshit and indoor is better. So you might get a little more for indoor, but nobody's going to pay more. It's just those days are over. Those days are over. And you're seeing the legal market crumble right now, crash and burn, which is ironic because I figured it wouldn't crash and burn until it went legal nationwide. And the big companies came in and fucked everyone, like the whales. Is it the whales or the sharks that eat the small fish? I guess the sharks eat the small fish. But this is the plant that should never have gone this way. You know, honestly, it should never have gone this way. Yeah, I mean, we're going the way of the wheat, soy, and corn, and it's fucking bullshit. You got to respect these. And that's why, that's why I'm online. Because listen, hey, let the commercial stores grow their weed. Let the commercial stores pump out their warehouses full of 1,000 lights. They can do their thing, and you want to go to the store and buy it? Cool, go buy it. Or as long as we have the freedom to cultivate our own at home and take care of our friends and family, I'm going to be out there telling you how to do it way better than them. And it's just a fact. Because you only have a handful of plants, as long as you build your shit right and you know what you're doing, you can take the time to make those exceptional plants with, super clean, super organic, filtered water, filtered air, filtered everything. These commercial facilities, yeah, they're trying, but they can't grow organic. There's viruses spreading left and right in the cannabis world through all the genetics. And a lot of people are going down hard. And I would say that if you're going to go commercial, you have to go to scale to survive. And in order to go to scale, you have to go to salts, which are also known as synthetic nutrients. And there's a big discussion about organic versus synthetic. Everybody wants to be organic, but then the synthetic guys say it's no different. And then it's like, okay, I went through that fucking firestorm 8-9 years ago when I started. Matter of fact, I started a little company called Beyond Organic Soil Solutions because the key to my success was making soil. Not dirt soil like you find in the garden, but potting soil. A super rich, they actually call it a super soil. Shout out to, why can't I remember his name? He's passed away. Rest in peace to the original super soil man. Hold on, let me check. Subcool, there you go. That's his fucking name. Anyway, so Subcool initially coined the term super soil. And see, to me, it's important to understand that the soil is the medium, right? You call it a medium, your grow medium. What is a medium? Well, what's the media? The media is that which is between you and I. So between us here and the audience, the medium is the camera and the YouTube and the way to get there. So what is the medium between the grower and the plant? It's the soil. That's your connection to the plant, is the soil. And the plant sends down its roots, which is like its digestive system, into the soil that you've cultivated for it. The potential there is limitless to come up with I probably have thousands of different soil mixes that I've done and recipes, and I created a bunch of food. But the secret is making a rich living soil and getting those plants in there. But you can't do it at scale. You do it at scale and you got all the diseases in the world. It's cost prohibited. I mean, there's a lot of guys out there trying to do huge beds of super soil, and then they just realized, wait, HLV, this fucking virus that's attacking all the plants, is transmitted in the roots. And you got these places cutting down plants and then replanting one right next to it in the same bed of soil. That ain't gonna fly. But you can do it at home if you just have 6 little plants and 6 little buckets. And it ain't cost prohibitive there to throw away that soil and start fresh. That's what we do. Anyway, you jump on my website, flacowatts.com, or go to the YouTube channel and sign up for whatever we have available. Still working on all that. And I'll teach you how to grow. In the meantime, let's talk about something else. Yeah, drugs, man. I'm glad you brought that up, Ian. Drugs, I don't believe drugs exist. As a matter of fact, I have a saying that I wrote down. Drugs do not exist. Okay, drugs do not exist. The term drug is ambiguous and misleading and a very poor depictor. God damn it. So why do you wear the sunglasses? Well, I will wear them. And these are actually the first sunglasses that I wore in my viral video. But I've always worn sunglasses on my videos because, hey, I look cooler with them on. For the same reason Milo wears them, right? I'm insecure and I like to wear sunglasses. Anyway. All right. So in my opinion, drugs do not exist. The term drug is ambiguous and misleading and a very poor descriptor of what is merely molecules and compounds that heretofore will be known as inputs. That's why I wear sunglasses. Inputs. Are all drugs the same? No. Is coke the same as psilocybin? Is mescaline the same as PCP? Are barbiturates the same as cannabis? Is alcohol the same as sugar? No. All these drugs have their own character to them. And if we're done using the word drug, so I'm going to say all these inputs have their own character. You can input all kinds of food that has massive amounts of sugar in it, right? And sugar's a drug. The way it works in your brain is psychoactive. But to me, they're all inputs, and we need to start describing them. And nothing pisses me off more than when you hear these
people talking about how drugs are bad. And it's like, well, what fucking drug are you talking about? Because you can use different drugs for different reasons. I use nose spray. That's a good drug. It opens up my sinuses. I use Kratom. It's basically saved my life and really improved the quality of my life. But, you know, that's another input. Yeah, we need to stop bullshitting ourselves. Matter of fact, that's one thing I've been meaning to start is a war. The war on bullshit. We've been fighting the war on drugs forever, and drugs won. Inputs. It's a clusterfuck, obviously. And a lot of lives have been destroyed because of that bullshit. There's a lot of veterans of the drug war. But we don't need any more of that. We need to put a fucking end to that. But we can start a war on bullshit. And it's, you know, it's my opinion that you guys, you young millennials, so let me step back. The Generation X that I am, we were the first generation to develop bullshit detectors, like little antennae that grew out of our heads. Like, no, too much bullshit. And that's what started the grunge because, you know, look to the 80s and tell me there wasn't bullshit. You know, fucking 80s, late 70s, 60s, 70s, early 70s, just unbelievable creativity and things that have never been replicated. But then whatever the fuck happened, war on drugs, 1973, kind of killed that creativity. And you got the most bullshit kind of music in the 80s, early 90s. And then you got Nirvana, Smashing Pumpkins, Soundgarden, Pearl Jam. Those guys said, hey, no, I'm not going to follow any of their philosophies. Obviously, they don't have lives to show any promise. But you can see that generation said, hey, we're disillusioned by your bullshit world. So we developed the first bullshit detectors. I think Kurt Cobain was born in 67, if I'm not mistaken. And I was born in 76. I'm towards the end of Gen X. But you millennials are the first generation that actually were born with bullshit detectors attached. Now, it's my opinion that the enemy, the devil, uses all tactics to destroy. But good starts to prevail, and then evil pivots to attack the good. And as evil pivots to attack the good needs to evolve into something new. Anyway, I forgot what I was talking about, but we can move on. Yeah, so the Jewish thing, I did want to talk about that. We talked about drugs. I did want to talk about drugs and the fact that there are no drugs, only inputs. And every input affects every person differently. So we need to stop making sweeping generalizations about all drugs, please, for the love of God. Also, we need to end the war on drugs, and a lot of laws need to be changed. I agree with you, Tim, when it comes to felons losing the right to have a firearm for the rest of their life, losing the right to protect themselves. Because, you know, and there's a lot of little white-collar felonies that'll fucking do that to you. Matter of fact, what's even worse is the domestic violence situation. Let's just say that you can get into a minor misdemeanor, like a B level, like not even an A level, but or a C or a B level misdemeanor. And if it has anything to do with the former spouse, that guy can get charged with domestic violence. And if he's convicted of it, even though it's a, you know, $100 misdemeanor, he will never be able to own, operate, purchase a firearm in the rest of his life. Okay, so maybe we don't have to have that discussion now, but there's a lot of laws that need to be changed. Yeah, so I'm not sure if we talked about it earlier, but, you know, to me, cannabis is more of a spiritual plant. It's a spiritual tool that you can use to become more in touch with the world and your surroundings. For instance, it enhances your taste, so food tastes better, increases your appetite. You can enjoy and appreciate a nice meal. Same thing with music and movies and maybe even video games. I don't know. I don't play video games, but I know that's blasphemous to say here in this environment. But yeah, no video games here, never. But I can understand the problem is when these kids start smoking weed and they don't stop, and that's all they do, and they don't do shit about the rest of their lives. So my opinion is you need to use it responsibly. You need to use it wisely. You need to know how to use it. You need to learn how to use it, its potential benefits. Because I've said this from the beginning. Find out does weed make your life better or worse? And if you don't know, then you better find out. So make a conscious, aware effort if you're going to use cannabis to make your life better. It's kind of like, here's a good example. It's kind of like gambling. Or not gambling, but poker. Poker's not gambling. if a guy wants to start playing poker and he's responsible about it, he's going to start with the bankroll and he's going to keep track of his bankroll. And over time, he's trying to make money because that's the number one rule in poker, right? If over time he keeps track of his bankroll and it is increasing, then the gambling is funding him, is making his bankroll better. And that's a tangible thing. You can actually do numbers, do math, and figure that out, right? But if his bankroll is dwindling and he has to pull more money from here and more money from there and he can never stop playing, gambling problem, he's making his bankroll worse. Simple. Simple, simple, simple. Does cannabis make your life better or does it make your life worse? No, that's enough cannabis. Let's talk about Jews. Yeah, man, I think Kanye's getting the short end of the stick here. He's not the clearest speaking, thinking person on earth, but he's a creative genius, and I think we need to give him a second chance here. I understand he's going through some persecution, and maybe it involves Jewish people that he's interacting with. But I'm going to tell you my story. And my story starts that as a child, I was raised in a Christian home. And as Christians, we learn through the Bible. The Bible is actually Jewish, right? The Old Testament, entirely Jewish, obviously. The New Testament, written by entirely Jewish people. But the vast majority, including Jesus himself, were all Jewish. And Christians look at Christianity as the fulfillment of the Jewish law, that Jesus came to fulfill the Jewish law as the sacrificial Lamb of God. That, if you go back to the start of the Jews, that starts with Abraham, right? Quick little lesson in history. Abraham was getting old in age and couldn't have a child, and was desperate to have a child because God was telling him that I will bless you. Your offspring will be blessed. And eventually Abraham's like, dude, I can't have a kid. What are you talking about? My wife is barren. And then little something happens and his wife's servant ends up getting pregnant. And, God wasn't too happy about that. But sure enough, about 13 years later, Abraham's 90-plus-year-old wife, Sarah, became pregnant with Isaac. Now, Ishmael was Abraham's child through Hagar, the servant lady to Sarah. As the story goes, God commanded Abraham to take his firstborn son through Sarah to be sacrificed up on the hill. And while Abraham didn't want to, he had faith that it was the right thing to do. Now, it may sound crazy, but hey, this is the Abrahamic tradition. This is where it all comes from. The Lord told him, take your son up to be sacrificed, and I will provide, or something like that. I haven't studied this in a while. But Isaac was old at this time. Old enough to walk up the mountain. And sure enough, I believe Abraham bound him and tied him to the pile of wood that they usually use to burnt offering. And as Abraham lifts his knife to sacrifice his son, God stops him and says, I see your faith, Abraham. And because of your faith, I will bless you, and I will make a covenant with you. And instead of your son, I will provide the lamb. And at that moment, they see a ram stuck in the bush next to him, and they use the ram to make the sacrifice. And Abraham is full of joy, and Isaac is full of blood and still alive. Well, the promise that Abraham made with God at that time goes as follows. God said that I will bless you and your seed, and through your seed I will bring the Lamb of God, the Messiah. And your inhabitants will outnumber the stars in the sky and the sand, the grains of sand in the ocean or the sea. And you will be my chosen people, my blessed people. And he's not saying Jew, because there ain't no such thing as Jew at the time. Hebrew maybe. But here's the other thing. He goes to Hagar, the mother of Ishmael, who's 13 years older than Isaac, the older half-brother, and he promises to Hagar that I will bless you and your son and his offspring as well. However, he will also be a little wild donkey of a man and will cause trouble through the earth for all his days. So, as that story goes, the sons of Ishmael are the Arabs and the Muslims. And the sons of Judah, which is Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Judah, I think. The 12 tribes of Jacob, yeah. So the Jews come through there. And I learned that story at a young age, and I'm thinking to myself, why are the Jews blessed? I mean, I'm envious of the Jews as God's chosen people because I'm not Jewish, and I'm on the outside looking in. And that's the beautiful thing about Christianity is that they allow basically salvation for the Gentiles. Now, we don't have to get too deep here. I know, Ian, you've always been asking about this kind of stuff, but it's interesting to me to see that the Jews are God's chosen people, according to literature and history and the Bible and all traditions and cultures of Judaism and Christianity. Now, the Muslims are going to say that they're God's chosen people. And to some degree they are. But it's different. And the Jews, I mean, literally, because the Messiah came through the line of Isaac, that is the blessing that God was talking about. The blessing that the Muslims got was something different. And trust me, I understand jealousy. And I understand envy. But there's only one chosen people. And you might say, well, that's a bunch of horse hockey. All this Bible stuff is nonsense. Yeah, well, believe what you want. However, I find it fascinating how overrepresentative Jews are in society. Do you know the number of Muslims on the planet? I believe it's around 1 billion. Do you know the number of Jews? I think it's 14 million. We all know about Ashkenazi Jews, how their IQ is like 30 points higher than the average. Now, do you see Jews, excelling in sports? Here and there, but not so much anymore. But you do see them excelling in the intellectuals, whether it be science, law, finance, and even entertainment. And that's been the case for many years. But you got to remember, in all people groups, there's evil and there's good. And when Jesus came as a Jew to speak against the evil in the Jewish church, to call out the corruption and power, it was so unacceptable to them that they killed him. Now, does Kanye want to put himself in that position? Does he want to say, hey, I'm going to come out and call? I think he's dabbling with grandiosity, yeah. Thinking that he's yay. On the verge of thinking he's Jesus reincarnated. And that's dangerous territory. But I can see how one might get it in that mindset of, I'm here to call out the Jews and to bring them to repentance. I mean, that's what the Bible is. If you don't know the Bible, then stop making comments on this shit. But go back and read the Old Testament and see the battle between the Jews and God. Back and forth, in and out, into the wilderness with Moses. The Jews have been the most persecuted, and half the time it's their own damn fault. But obviously the devil, the enemy of God, is the one instigating the persecution of the Jews. And we saw that clear as day in World War II. Now, when Kanye comes out and says, I think the Jews are corrupt and they are doing dirty shit behind the scenes, then he may be right. But it's not necessarily because they're Jewish. It's because they're evil. And Jews aren't evil because they're, no ethnic or religious or race-based group is evil in their own right. Evil runs through the middle of the heart of each man and woman. And you can be good or you can be evil. You can be all of one or half and half. That's humanity, and we all know that. So if Kanye's out there calling out the evil Jews, I'll call out the good ones. When we went to Memorial Sloan Kettering, I'd never really been around any Jewish culture until we spent like a year straight in New York City. And that's when I saw it. I was fascinated. Like I hadn't been that enamored with people since I was like 12 years old, looking up to like the cool kids that are 14. That's what it felt like to look at the Jewish doctors. I mean, the doctor that saved my son's life and his eye is David Abramson. I mean, it doesn't get any more Jewish than that. King David Abramson, Abraham's son. I mean, it's fucking beautiful. And then you start to look at, countless people. The first place I noticed it was on Joe Rogan, or even Tim Ferriss was the first podcast I kind of got into. How many of these guests are Jewish? You got Michael Malice. I mean, I'm not going to list all the Jews that are on your show here, but it blows my mind how overrepresentative they are of movers and shakers, of people out here making, making waves. The overrepresentation is fascinating, and I think it's a testament. It is a testament to the intelligence, and it's a testament to the blessing of God. And I think any Jew who's placed in a position of power, if they misuse the power, God's not going to bless them. Maybe he raised them up into that realm of blessing, but then when they got their hands on power and got corrupted by the devil and use it for their own gain, God turns his back on that. He does not like that. So there's evil people and there's good people in every race, ethnicity, culture, you name it. We need to stop getting so focused. I don't want to start sounding woke here, so I'm not saying that, hey, it's not, what I want to say is that, to me, it feels like the wokies are hyper aware of race, overly aware of race. And I need to say, hey, let's be aware of race. How are you going to honor the Jews if you don't know who they are? Honor. Not like Hitler saying, how are you going to round up the Jews if you don't know who they are? So let's put a little yellow star on them. No, how are you going to honor people if you don't know who they are? I honor the black culture of my black friends. I honor the Hispanic culture of my Hispanic friends. I honor the Mexican culture of the Mexican friends that I honor the white culture that I live in. And not all white cultures are the same. We all do things different. And that's what I'm saying is that we just need to start appreciating cultures. And we can give each other shit. My Hispanic/Mexican friends give me shit all the time about being white. And I think it's funny. And I give them shit. But I'm not looking down or talking down. Like, there's a line to cross. We've become too fucking sensitive. And in doing so, we've given up any idea of what makes each culture different. You want everyone to be the same woke fucking white liberal that graduated college with a master's degree in bullshit? No. We want difference. We want diversity, true diversity, yeah. But let us celebrate the cultures. Stop. Anyway, so my rant's done there. I appreciate you guys having me on. This has been quite the experience, and hopefully we can do it again because I probably have more to say, but it is actually 4 a.m. It's 4 a.m. So it's time for me to go to bed. And thanks, Tim.
Okay, yeah, well, thank you. That was a wild show, but I appreciate you coming up and filling in for everybody and enlightening us on the cannabis, which I didn't know much about. And I really like your perspective on the Jews. So we should probably have you back. Sounds like you got a lot more to say. Smart guy. Now, for the rest of you out there, sorry about running over. Go ahead and smash that like button, share the show with your friends, and we'll see you all next time.
Cheers.
Welcome to town, take a look around. Now sir, putting money in my hand right now, cause right now's the time for that roulette spinning and talking, walking to women till I'm opening it. Using a pinch and a passion, rolling right up in the center with the dashy blowing on them till they say I'm the winner if you dig it. Dug it while the blackjack is flipped in my black stack of chips was 25%.
Let's go to Vegas, baby. Let's go tonight.
Let's go tonight.
Let's go to Vegas.